So I pulled a card from the Alana Fairchild, what's this called? Divine Circus Oracle deck. And what I pulled was number 22, Guest of Honor, which happens to be the featured artwork for the package. But I wanted to read this one because it is highly fitting for me. Guest of Honor. Have you ever felt like you were on the outside looking in? Maybe like everyone else has found their place, really belonging to someone or something, having set themselves up for life, with you still working out how to just get past the security guards at the front gate. Oh, yes, I have. It's time for your outsider status to change. You are invited into the inner circle. There are times to break free from the crowd, to stand alone, and to have the courage to be the outsider. If you are brave enough to endure the times when you feel like you don't fit in, you gain a precious treasure. This is the ability to know who you really are and to learn to love that self. When you are solid in your self-esteem and your self-knowledge, the powers you have developed as an outsider, including different viewpoints and ways of understanding the world, can be brought back to the rest of the world to be shared, to create a better world for all. It's a bit like a soul version of sharing your holiday pictures with the family after a big adventure, opening up their minds to the other worlds and maybe even inspiring them to take their own journey. But if you've spent long enough on the outside, on the fringe of life, perhaps leaving people behind, it can take some intention and attention to change course. You might have to become used to being the lone wolf or standing so apart from the crowd that there's no one else around you. That will have served its purpose, but you are invited to shift your ways now, from setting yourself apart to returning with that wisdom to share with others. It means believing you can set sail past the security guards at the door, straight into the most deliciously wonderful party and into the VIP room at the center. It's your time for acceptance as a greater level because you are safe. You have learned to accept yourself, so you'll not hand your power over to others, as though their approval means more to you than your own self-possession. You can be amongst the crowd and take your rightful place there, yet still be an individual, very much at home, belonging and sharing your treasures with others, still exactly who you are in truth. The Oracle of Guest of Honor brings a message. You are going to be offered pride of place in something that matters a lot to you. Accept it. It is your time to feel as though you have been chosen and that you belong. All right, well, I'm actually going to pull another few cards live, and makes me kind of nervous because the only few times I've done that have seemed to be a little bit disastrous. But I'm going to pull from this deck, the Jeopardized Tarot, as it's very sort of circus themed. It's by Nino Jeopardize. And so we will see what comes out. And some of them I know the meanings to, and some of them I do not, because I'm an amateur reader. Alrighty, shuffle them. I've got the Priestess in the deck at the bottom right now. And the Priestess again with the Seven of Fire. That's what I'm seeing. Is that 3 times? I think so. Okay, let's reveal the camera. 8 of Wands, and I think these might end up, since I'm pulling 3, being past, present, and future positions. King of Wands, but in the reverse. Temperance is at the bottom right now. Just pull that for the bottom. saw the Queen of Gardens, which is the Queen of Pentacles. Continuing to shuffle. And something flipped. Oh, which happens to be the Death card. Alrighty. So, put this Temperance bottom over here. And I'm just going to read these out of the book. So, Eight of Wands, which is air, swords. We're going to say this is in the past position here. A woman sits with her arms bound and tied in a forbidding prison cell. The forlorn figure may be unaware that the key to escape her confinement rests in the keyhole of the door right in front of her. The solid wooden door under her feet symbolizes a foundation and source of spiritual nourishment that should not be ignored or taken for granted. This card calls attention to the need to overcome fear and persevere in dealing with the sense of entrapment and paralysis that can accompany a difficult or challenging situation. The eights of the minor arcana have much to do with action, movement, and the direction and application of energy as a journey through each suit and nears the finish and completion of its cycle. Nice. Divinatory message is resolution can only be achieved through determination, a need for action or taking responsibility, immobility from feelings of powerlessness and victimization. Nice. That is very fitting, along with the oracle card of the guest of honor. And then out came the King of Wands, which also is of air and of swords. So King of Swords, but in the reverse. Where is that? Okay. So, and it's in the reverse. So basically the divinatory meaning is a thoughtful, ethical, and patient man, someone who makes or influences decisions or judgments. So with that being in the reverse, I'm going to say that the King of Wands is going to take action, no longer patient, maybe acting immediately. Someone who makes or influences decisions or judgments, and perhaps that has been put in the reverse, as perhaps the King of Wands is quite possibly being like humbled. Yeah. Okay, and then the Death card, meaning the end of a cycle. Again, so that is my major arcana that came out. And perhaps the most misunderstood and unnecessarily feared card in the entire tarot deck. Death does not typically speak of physical death, but rather refers to an impending and profound mental rebirth resulting from the progression described in the previous cards. Death is more of a card of transition and regeneration, as indicated by Nino's depiction of life-affirming rays of light and flood of new births, ensuing from an expired figure wrapped around a womb-like structure containing conventional symbols of death, including the skull, snakes, and flames. Divinatory meaning is a significant change, a revision of attitude or a new perspective, an ending of a cycle or period of transition. Cool. And then Temperance was at the bottom. Against a brightly colored background, a series of swings are suspended from an unknown apex. Might as well put that here. Two of the swings are occupied by women looking upward and outward. One of them has an expression of ecstatic joy. The other's countenance appears calm and serene. Temperance jeopardizes unique vision of the calm before the storm. Jeopardizes, hopefully I'm pronouncing her name correctly. Calm before the storm as we approach the most turbulent segment of the major arcana. Period of ego dissolution and forces of balance amidst the dramatic changes represented by its surrounding cards, Death and the Devil, and on ultimately the Tower. Calmness under pressure, seeking the right path, balance, a fair agreement. And I'm going to say, in my situation, a lot of patience and waiting and standing still and in faith concerning a situation, standing in faith, knowing that something that you saw or someone's eyes could be very, very significant, and holding on to that. So I guess that concludes this.